Did you know that this guy is in charge of the fourth biggest military in the world? How did he even come to power? Well, when his dad, Kim Jong-il, passed away in 2011, Kim Jong-un took over. At first, people didn't know much about him, only that he was the third Kim in charge, and that things changed. Unlike his dad and granddad, he's not so shy. Kim Jong-un made North Korea stronger, especially in terms of having nuclear weapons. This made other countries worried. The story of Kim Jong-un is like a big puzzle with North Korea, its leader, and the rest of the world fitting together in a way that affects everyone. In the realm of North Korean politics, his ascent to power marked a great moment in the nation's history. The story begins with the sudden death of his father, pushing the young and relatively unknown Kim Jong-un into the spotlight. Inheriting a regime shrouded in mystery and isolation, Kim navigated the complexities of consolidating power, balancing internal factions, and establishing his authority. Before we go into Kim Jong-un's introduction, let's take a step back in history and acquaint ourselves with his father. Kim Jong-il led North Korea from 1994 until he died in 2011. He was the son of Kim Il-sung, who founded North Korea. Kim Jong-il focused on making North Korea strong in nuclear and military ways, while the country was having a big hunger problem during his time. He called it Songun, meaning military first. People saw him as a big leader, but some did not like him because of how the country had problems with money and treating people fairly. Some people think Kim Jong-il did well in making the military strong, but others would disagree since he ignored the country's finances and treated his people poorly. But did his successor's son continue doing the same? Let's find out. Amidst international speculation about the stability of North Korea, Kim Jong-un emerged as a leader with a distinct style. Less reserved than his predecessors, he showed a tendency for public appearances, often depicted alongside military brass, making his image as a bold leader. The narrative of Kim's rise continued with the pursuit of nuclear capabilities, elevating North Korea's status on the global stage. The international community watched as tensions escalated, diplomatic dialogues faltered, and the leader wielded both rhetoric and action to assert his nation's presence. The rise of Kim Jong-un is twisted by the intricacies of maintaining control in a dynastic regime, the enigma of North Korea's isolation, and the geopolitical presence on the Korean peninsula. Kim was born on the 8th of January 1984, and his exposure to militaristic power began early in life. This was evident in childhood photos adorned in full military regalia, received allegedly for his 8th birthday. Officers were instructed to salute him as a superior, signaling his grooming as a future general by his father. Despite studying at a private school in Bern alongside his older brother Jong, who was initially considered the heir, Jong-un's love for basketball showed when NBA star Dennis Rodman sang him happy birthday, hinting at a potential Western influence. His military studies at Kim Il-sung Military University culminated in his 2008 appointment as North Korea's heir. In 2011, following his father's death, he assumed control, swiftly eliminating potential rivals and asserting his dominance within a few years. Contrary to expectations from his time in Switzerland, Kim Jong-un, rather than adopting a more Western approach, initiated provocations, including a 2016 nuclear weapons test, signaling his aspiration to position North Korea as a regional power on the international stage. In February 2017, Kim Jong-un stunned the world, not with weapons, but by arranging the assassination of his half-brother, Kim Jong-nam, using a deadly nerve agent at Kuala Lumpur National Airport. This led to a diplomatic standoff with Malaysia, as North Korean agents involved in the attack swiftly left the country. 2 women, captured by security cameras as they applied the substance to Kim Jong-nam's face, faced a murder trial where they argued that they believed it was part of a game show prank. Eventually, they were acquitted and released. Amidst global headlines, Kim oversaw a series of missile tests, raising tensions with then US President Donald Trump, who initially threatened North Korea with fire and fury. However, the dynamic shifted, resulting in a historic summit between Trump and Kim in 2018. Hope faded as subsequent negotiations failed, leading to a return to missile tests and threats. The UN discovered evidence of nuclear material production emphasizing North Korea's unwillingness to abandon its nuclear ambitions. Despite economic challenges and Kim's acknowledgement of a struggling economy exacerbated by sanctions and the pandemic, he remains resolute in maintaining his weapons arsenal as a deterrent against perceived US aggression. The North Korean leader, having consolidated power, faces the pressing challenges of economic woes and a potential winter of starvation, yet appears unwilling to negotiate his nuclear assets. Be the first to know about our upcoming content. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now let's go back to Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un's fixation on nuclear weapons has become a central feature of North Korea's geopolitical stance. Estimates suggest he possesses a nuclear arsenal of around 60 weapons, adding up to 18 more each year. This has bolstered domestic unity and enhanced his desired global standing. Despite facing UN sanctions and pandemic-related challenges, Kim's grip on these weapons remains firm. The numerous weapons tests conducted during his rule have showcased North Korea's military capabilities, signaling a deterrent to perceived US threats. Simultaneously, Kim's leadership has been marked by high-profile executions and purges, eliminating potential challengers and solidifying absolute control. Diplomatically, Kim's efforts to persuade Trump and subsequent summits have failed, leading to a collapse in international diplomacy. The North Korean economy, already mismanaged for years, faces additional challenges, including chronic food shortages. Many anticipated economic reforms with Kim's leadership, but the reality has seen a return to the Workers' Party's control and modest economic growth. The pressing concern is how Kim Jong-un will navigate North Korea through economic struggles, food shortages, and global uncertainties while maintaining his grip on power. Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea, has ventured into the diplomatic realm, making some interesting moves on the global stage. Despite North Korea's usual stance of staying mostly on its own, Kim decided to sit down with leaders from South Korea and even the United States. Sometimes things seem to go well, like the world taking a collective sigh of relief. Leaders make agreements and talk about peace. Other times, it got a bit shaky, with tensions rising and everyone watching closely to see what would happen next. It's like a giant game of international friendship, where the moves made by Kim Jong-un and other leaders affect not just their countries, but the whole world. In these diplomatic efforts, Kim Jong-un has been trying to find common ground and understanding with South Korea and the United States. It's not always smooth sailing, and the outcomes are uncertain. These interactions have made conversations globally, with people wondering if these talks will lead to lasting changes, or if things will go back to the way they were. So there's Kim Jong-un navigating diplomacy, where every move and decision has ripple effects. The world watches with a mix of hope and caution, recognizing the significance of leaders finding ways to communicate and negotiate. In a world often divided, these diplomatic endeavors show the potential for change, even if it's just one step at a time, and remind us all that even leaders of isolated nations can play a part on the broader global narrative. The carefully orchestrated transition to power involved internal purges and strategic alignments with the military, solidifying his authority as the supreme leader. Kim's pursuit of nuclear capabilities heightened global tensions, drawing attention to North Korea's assertiveness on the international stage. Besides the isolationist nature of the regime, Kim engaged in historic diplomatic summits, notably with South Korea's Moon Jae-in and the United States' Donald Trump, attempting to redesign North Korea's global image. However, challenges persist, including economic struggles and human rights concerns, revealing the dynamics of Kim Jong-un's leadership and the mysterious nature of North Korean politics. Join the conversation and share your insights about Kim's leadership. We want to hear your perspective on Kim Jong-un's role in global politics. Your thoughts matter to us, so please drop them in the comments below.